Alright, good morning class. I am going to go over and review a few tools with you. Some of the tools including, let me just get myself set up. Some of the tools including your selection tools, so your marquee, your lasso, and your wand, along with your mask. I would also like to go over selecting specific layers, color correction tools, dodge, burn, blur, and sharpen. All tools that will be on our quiz Monday. Alright, so I have both my layers open. I have my landscape and I have a picture of a cow. I'm going to take the picture of the cow. I'm going to drag it into my landscape image. Now, one thing I want you to be mindful of when you're looking for an image is the resolution. You want to make sure it's a high res, it's clean, it's clear. So to transform this image, I'm going to press Control-T and I'm going to hold the Shift key down to make sure that the image is staying in proportion. And I'm going to make the picture, to the best of my ability, make the cow around the size that he might be in this sunflower field to make it look believable. I'm not going to make the cow really small unless whatever I'm trying to illustrate is demonstrating a miniature cow. I'm going to make it the actual size so that it looks pretty believable. Now make note, this may or may not be on the quiz. Remember where your transformation tools are. So, because I might ask you to rotate, skew, distort, warp, so forth. So it's under Edit, Transform. Alright, so now I have my cow in my sunflower field. Alright, there are a few ways I can get rid of the background. Alright, the first way is to use your marquee tool. So your marquee tool is a rectangle, you have your elliptical, single row marquee, etc. So this may not be the best way to do it, but it's a good way to get rid of chunks that you might want to get rid of. So I'm going to select the area and I'm going to hit backspace and it will get rid of that space. Control D will deselect your selection, or you can just click and it will shut off. The next tool is your lasso tool. Alright, so if I zoom in, okay, Control plus, and I were to use my lasso tool, I could carefully, polygonal lasso tool, which it's on, go around and cut out the specific area around this cow. I could do little areas at a time. Alright, now that may not be the easiest way to go about this. I can also use my magnetic lasso tool, which I can carefully run over the lines around the cow and it will pick up the outline of the cow. And you might find that this is an easy way to go about it. Alright, but there's also your wand tool. So your wand tool is located underneath your lasso tool, and with your wand comes tolerance. So the higher the tolerance, the more it will pick up. The less the tolerance, the less it will pick up. So if I were going to put this on 50, it's going to pick up more than if I were going to put it on, let's say, 20. Now if I were to do it again, 20 tolerance, you're going to see that it's going to pick up less. So depending on what you're doing, you may want more or less to pick up. I'm going to keep it on 30 because I kind of want to show you when you use your wand tool, it only selects certain areas at a time. If I wanted to select more than just one area, holding down the Shift key will create a plus sign, and that will add to your selection. Holding down the Control key, the Alt key, will create a minus sign and will get rid of that space. Alright, and you can use your selection tools together. So I have all these little speckles in here that the wand tool is not picking up. Actually, it might be easier to see it with my background off. You can see that there's a lot that's not picking up. So I might hold down the Shift key and using my lasso tool, because I feel like this might be the best way to go about it, go in and pick up, whoops, I don't know why that's happening, oops, and see now I just picked up part of the cow, so I got to go back in and get rid of that. Firefox is messing with my computer right now. Alright, so I'm going to start over again because I don't know why Firefox keeps popping up on my screen and messing up my my selection here. Okay. Alright, so you can go in and use your tools together. Alright, you can also use your eraser. So remember, you have your opacity and flow. You can use your eraser at a the lower the opacity and the lower the flow, the less it's going to erase. Alright, and then depending on the type of eraser you're using, it could be a soft or a hard eraser, and that will determine the texture that you're creating for that line. Alright, but I might go in, enlarge my paintbrush, and just go in and kind of quickly get rid of this extra nonsense here. And those are your tools for selecting an image. Okay. Now let's say I wanted to select just the cow and change the color of just the cow. Okay. I'm going to hold down my control key, and not on the layer but on the actual image itself, I'm going to hit the control and click. Now if you notice, when you hit the control button, a little marquee square selection comes up. Okay, that means that it's going to select just the cow. Okay, and now it's selected just that object itself. And now I can go to my adjustments and change them. So adjustments can be, you can find adjustments in many different places. Just close this out. You can find your adjustments, if it's not open, you can find your adjustments under Windows. Okay, and it will open up, which mine are down below here. Or you can open it up under this black and white cookie on your layer screen. Okay. So I'm going to change the hue. Change the color. And maybe I'm going to add saturation. Make it more vibrant. Alright. So now I made a color correction to the cow. Alright, so how does a mask work? I'm going to turn off my color correction I made. In fact, I'm going to delete it completely and start fresh. So let's say I have this cow. Okay, I'm going to name it cow. It's not letting me write. My computer's being all wacky. Usually you can double click and type, and my computer for some reason doesn't want me to. So I'm just going to leave it layer 1, but know that when you double click on the layer, you can change the name of it. Okay, so let's say I wanted to make a mask. You want to make sure that your color swatches are white and black, and you're going to be on the layer that you want to create the mask on. And right next to your color correction tools on your layer bar, you have your mask tool. Add layer mask. It looks like a camera, is about how I put it. Okay? And it's going to pull up the mask icon next to it. Using my eraser, when I erase from the image, it will erase away at the image. When I use my paintbrush, it's going to add it back again. Alright, I'm going to do that over again because This is actually not white. I have it on a light blue, so you notice probably that the color was a little bit different. So now it's black and white. So now if I go to erase, it's going to erase through, and if I use my paintbrush, it will bring it back again. What is the importance of this? Well, in Photoshop, you never really want anything to be permanent, or try to keep things not permanent, because if you have a client, they may want you to change something, and you want to be able to easily change something. So if I wanted to erase part of this cow and make it look like the cow is in the sunflower field, okay, maybe I'm going to place it over here, and I'm going to shrink it a little bit to make it look more believable. So I'm going to make it look like it's smaller and it's off into the distance a little bit more. Okay, and I have a mask on it, and I'm going to erase part of it so that it looks like it's in the sunflower field. I might, so I can see what I'm doing, lower the opacity of the layer. Using my eraser, go in, and I would carefully do this, and erase away at part of the sunflowers. I might just keep it very general for now. In fact, I might try and figure out an outline when I'm erasing. So I might, realistically, the cow might be really in that sunflower field. Right. So I might turn my opacity up again. And that's just kind of my general line as to where I think it would look like he is in the sunflower field. Okay. But I would probably go back again into it, not probably, most definitely would, with my paintbrush and go in and add back parts of the cow. Using the space bar, your hand will come up. Oops. And allowing you to move things a little bit better. So I might go back and forth between erasing and bringing back again, okay, to make it look more believable. All right, and then this way, it's not permanent. You can always bring back whatever it is that you need to bring back. All right. The other tools that I mentioned to you are dodge and burn, and blur and sharpen. So works the same way. You can see these sunflowers are a little bit blurrier than the cow. You might want to use the blur tool to blur the cow a little bit more to make it look like it's set back more. Your blur tool is located under your paint bucket along with the sharpen. So on the cow layer, I might blur some of the cow to make it look like it is in the sunflower field. And this might lightly blur the cow, right? So the more strength I add to it, the more it will blur. The more I keep going over the image, the more it will blur. Maybe I would want to sharpen the background a little bit more. So I would go to sharpen, and this can go for anything. You might just want to sharpen something. Maybe it's not sharp enough. So you're going to use this tool to lightly go over it, and it will sharpen it a little bit more. So now you can see I blurred the cow a little bit and sharpened the sunflower a little bit, and now it looks similar. If you're trying to photo edit something, you want it to look similar and like one another. So color should be similar, lighting should be similar, sharpness should be similar. The other tool I was going to show you was dodge and burn. You might use this to darken something or lighten something. So let's say I wanted to lighten parts of the cow. Now, I don't know why I would do this right now. I think it's fine, but I would use my dodge tool. Your dodge tool is below your sharpen and blur. So if I go to dodge, it's going to lightly and slowly lighten the object without getting rid of the detail in the object. If I go to burn, it's going to darken parts of the picture while oh, and you know what? It's not showing because if you notice, I'm doing it on my background. Okay, so I want to work on my cow copy. Okay, so if I dodge, it's going to lighten parts of the cow while keeping the detail of the cow. And the burn tool will burn parts of the cow or darken it while keeping that detail again. So if I wanted to add a shadow somewhere or highlight somewhere, I could use the dodge and burn tool. Those are tools that I'd like to cover with you, and they will be on the quiz for Monday. I would also suggest, along with, like I said, I didn't really formally go over this because you said you knew it. Miss Baggett introduced it to you, all of your transformation tools, and also make sure that you really have a good idea and understanding of your adjustment tools and where to find them, where to find your tools and so forth. All right, and anything else that you've learned, your history bar, saving files, and so forth. If you have any other questions, you can ask me during class tomorrow. Thank you.